Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. What a rich Tuesday it was. Some really good conversations. Amy Silverman, RBC Capital Markets, on what the cross moments, variance, kurtosis, what they mean. Dana and Sassa are in for Paul Sweeney, talking about platykurtotic distributions. All sorts of fancy talk, but also some really basic talk. And of course, that means Ed Yardeni. It's been one of the great bull market calls here. He's had him for decades from his work from C.J. Lawrence on. Ed Yardeni, can't say enough about his market newsletter. It's very, very reasonably priced. Look for that. Quick Take, I think is what it's called. I can't remember right now. But the Ed Yardeni newsletter, look for it out on the internet. It's really quite something. And he's very optimistic. He looks, and he's got a range. But if you go to the top of his range at 14 months, end of 2026, that's out there, 2 years and more than 14 months. He's got Dow 50,000 is where he's looking. I think very few people are framing that. Here's Ed Yardeni on the loneliness of the Uber bull.
Well, I don't feel that lonely. I think there's certainly more people that are optimistic about the outlook for the economy than there were back in 2022 and early 2022. And through 2023, we were pretty lonely with the idea that there wouldn't be a recession. And that was definitely a contrary call because, look, it was logical to expect that with the Fed raising interest rates from a Fed funds rate of 0 to 5.25%, that kind of tightening would cause a recession. We argued that we were in rolling recessions that were impacting the various sectors of the economy without taking us down. And we argued that the consumer was fundamentally resilient, that this idea that they'd run out of excess savings missed the point that there were, 70 million baby boomers with $75 trillion of retirement assets, and they're retiring.
Ed Yardeni for an extended conversation today. As well was Michael Darda of MKM Roth. And Michael Darda, I'm just going to say, is a congenital optimist, and he's very cautious right now, particularly within all the series he looks at in diminished nominal GDP, pushing against Yardeni. Michael Darda is looking at the rapidity, the first derivative of the rising of the unemployment rate. Michael Darda, on your unemployment rate.
We're 90 basis points off the cyclical trough in the unemployment rate. That has never happened in history, with the unemployment rate just leveling off instead of going up at least several hundred basis points. So if you're going with history, that's telling you that whatever the cause, whether it's the labor force growing more quickly or hiring weakening, it's both, frankly, that those things tend to persist for a while. And especially, I think, if the Fed is now getting pressure. I mean, what's the consensus view? The consensus view is that they're going to do too much. They're going to cut, too fast and lower rates too much. I actually think that's incorrect. And that's how you get into a condition where this landing slips away from the Fed.
Michael Darda there with Roth, talking about a rising unemployment rate. I merely must say the convexity, the curve higher of the unemployment rate speaks volumes, something of course Claudia Sams led on with her important work, some would say controversial work as well. One of the joys is we had a Greifeld sighting. Katie Greifeld was scheduled to be with us at the Olympics. She is a world-class, to say horseback rider shows my ignorance. It is called dressage. It's the fancy, like the dancing of the horses, and they do it at the Olympics. And of course, she went over to the Olympics to see what she's so good at. And she was in the studio today. We couldn't get her at the Olympics. Her people wouldn't let us talk to her during the Olympics. But Catherine Greifeld showed up today. Here's Katie Greifeld on horses dancing.
Definitely there's a sweet spot. It's not like racing, for example, where you have 2, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds on the track. I mean, it is skill-based, so it takes a while to learn. So probably the sweet spot is 7 to 12 years.
So if they go dancing to the left, what do? Give them a carrot?
No, it's kind of like Pilates, which is an insane thing to say, but basically when you're applying an aid, you have to then release the aid. Where you get into trouble is if you just hold the horse there. They're looking for that
Right, that's
release.
what Sparta does with me on radio. Katie Greifeld, thank you so much. I mean, where else, folks, do you get economics, finance, investment, international relations, and horses dancing? Did she say they do Pilates with the horses? Something like that. Catherine Greifeld, The Open. Look for that at 9 a.m. Bloomberg television as well. I want to review this. I think it's very important. First of all, for all of you in New England, a major change September 3rd. We're going to 92.9 FM, Bloomberg, 92.9 FM in Boston. Really, really excited about that. It'll be the same power signal that we have at 99.1 in Washington. So really excited about that. We're out on YouTube. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts out at YouTube. It's growing each day. Good morning and good evening, I should say, to the Pacific Rim. We're humbled by the international audience we're developing there as well. And, of course, on Android Auto worldwide and Apple CarPlay worldwide as well. On Apple Podcasts, this is Single Best Idea.